Good morning, people. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, dear people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Today is Sunday. Beautiful Sunday morning, October 29th, 2023. And the time is 6:30 a.m. How are you all doing? Yes, a beautiful early morning. Sunrise would be like in 45, 50 minutes. And you're going to notice the sky is going to get brighter and brighter by the time I'm finished this live stream. Yes, all of my babies are in bed with me. My little fur babies, that is. They're doing okay. Yeah, you can hear in the background the police. Just want to let it pass. Wow, it's still going. Yes, yes, in good old New York City where I live. Yeah, I want to be upfront. This is going to be a candid video. It's been a couple of days since I did a live stream, and I want to be honest with my feelings. And I'm bombarded by news. Am I watching videos? The type of videos I'm watching, it's not helping. I notice the videos that they're referring to me, you know, YouTube, it's pulling down my spirit. And I'm very sensitive. The more you watch, the more they oblige in giving you that content. It's very addictive. And I'm watching videos, the Times, Signs of the Times. I live in New York City, as many of you know, born and raised here. And I'm just going to talk about the past week. I'm heavy hearted right now. Couple of days now. I did go out yesterday. It was a beautiful day yesterday. It was hot, hot, hot. And today is supposed to rain around 11 a.m. for a couple of hours. But how I feel, um, I couldn't shrug it off. I went to parts of town that I enjoy. You know, if I get up a little later, I usually go to this other place and see the farmers market. You know, I enjoy it. I even bought food, you know, treated myself as, yes, good morning, viewer, good morning. Um, yeah, this is going to be a candid talk, and your feedback will be appreciated. Yeah, this is going to be an honest talk. Yeah, I felt a little, my spirit, a little downcast. Wow, where is this world coming through? want, I want to say this up front. I want peace, love, and joy, and harmony and wellness to everyone who hears this live stream. Everyone's entitled to happiness, peace, and joy, and safety. That's the key word, safety. And when I don't feel safe, I get anxiety. And that's what's happening right now. It's the world around me is happening it's changing so quickly. And it's affecting me. And I was just watching a YouTuber. I watch him on and off. Yeah, I like his channel. And he too. His name is Bjorn Hansen. He's a Scandinavian guy. He's from, what's that? Oh, I forget which place. I think it was Norway. Yeah, I think it was Norway. Yeah. And I've been to Norway. And so I know how it is. It was many years ago, it's about 37 years ago. I did an escape trip. I was supposed to go away with this my then buddy, hangout buddy, and we were going to go to Jamaica together, the Caribbean, and she backs out at the last minute. And going solo in the Caribbean during um, the holiday season, what we call the holiday season, that's New Year's, Christmas and New Year's, is expensive. But I knew I wanted to get away. I don't feel safe during the holidays. It's not a good time for me for personal reasons. Um, so I said, well, I'm determined to go away for a week, just for a week. And I just decided to go to Scandinavia. Yeah, who goes to Scandinavia in the winter? But I did. The West Indies is twice the amount of money during the same time. And there was this group that was very popular that time from Norway, the group AHA, and I was fond of their hit song. And and I was also fascinated learning more about Sweden. And so I booked a ticket, and I think I went to an agent. Back in those days, they had travel agents. So I got the flight there. I said, well, I want to go to both places. I couldn't figure out which one I wanted to go to. So I say, hey, go to both of them. That's my mentality back then. You can't decide, take both. So I took the flight directly to Norway. And then I was to take the train, spend a couple of days, 3 days there, and then take a trip, the train going to Stockholm. And it took like, I think, 6 hours or something, 6 or 8 hours to come across. And I made the arrangements there. The train, and yeah, they had a lot of, agents back then in town. And so you could easily make your arrangements. And I didn't know what to be afraid of back then. I was more afraid to stay in the States during the holidays than my fear of traveling to Scandinavia. So for me, basically, Scandinavia was a nice retreat, a minor incident, uh, but it was pretty positive. The two countries are very different. There were Norway. I would say is a party country, and that was in Oslo, the capital. And then I went to Stockholm, Sweden, the capital there. And that was a little sleepier town. You know, it was more quiet. They were more reserved, and it was more national. And I liked it. They were nice. Yes, Sweden, friend. You know, they were conservative, but they were nice. They didn't make me feel uncomfortable, and it was overall a positive experience. And that was my first time ever outside of the U.S. Things were very simple back then. That was in 1986 when I went. 1986. And it was safe for being a single woman. I knew very few, I knew little words. I was actually studying the language. They had these cassette tapes, and you can teach yourself a foreign language. I was just listening to it and just copying what I hear on the tape. And that's what I did. So my watching this video, this channel, YouTube channel, the guy's from Norway, and you know, he is faced with the same thing I'm facing with here in New York City. He's like early 50s or late 40s, early 50s, family man. He's a real outdoorsman looking person. And you know, you're going to think it's funny. I should tell him this. I commented on his videos in the past, and he wrote me back. He liked what I said. You know, I was complimenting his channel. But you know, it's good. You got to laugh. He looks like, now he's a white dude. He looks like my father. He looks like a white version of my father. He had the same shaped face as my father, the same teeth, the same way how he talked, you know, how um, he, his face, especially the mouth area, his teeth, you know, the jawline, everything. My father was a big guy, but very, very dark skinned. But basically, they, they look, you know, they kind of look alike, the same shaped face. And so I think I'm fascinated looking at this Norwegian man because I see a little bit of my father in him. Now, my father was not an outdoorsman. He had an office, he had an office job. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. Let me get some water. Sorry about that. So I think I'm fascinated looking at him. Um, but he has a fantastic channel. He does his videos out in the wilderness. And I find the wilderness fascinating. And I'm fascinated with real men, men that act like men that, you know, because I also have brothers. And I find men fascinating when they're, you know, outdoorsy. You know, I used to try to accompany my brothers when they were going out bicycling. And I said, "Oh, can I come? Can I come?" You know, so when I see channels like this, men, you know, being outdoorsy, and plus I've been to the country where they are. It makes me feel remember some of the good things that happened to me growing up. And yeah, in my current environment, men aren't men. It's bizarre what I see. And so when I watch this YouTuber, it gives me optimism. It makes me feel like there are men out there who know what they are, who know what they have, what nature gave them. He's just sitting by a campfire, and I find that so cozy. And I wish I were there. Boy, hey, maybe I could meet, it'd be nice to meet an outdoorsman. I know nothing about camping, but I love the fantasy of camping, to sit by a campfire. I love to do this one day. I really would. Someone go with somebody who knows about camping, sit by, who knows how to make a campfire, know how to protect themselves. Oh, I would love it. I would love to sleep in a tent. I had a tent in Hawaii to protect me from the centipedes because I had got bit by a centipede. They're painful. It's painful when you get bitten by those giant things. They're giant, they're about a foot long. Yeah, and they got these things that poke you. So when that happened, um, when I got bit, I bought a tent in my studio apartment in Hawaii. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I believe in protecting myself. So yes, I've slept in a tent before. Yeah, coming back to the U.S. mainland, I did give away my camping gear, my tent. It was a nice one too. And I gave it to one of the guys that work in my building. Yep. And he went camping with his son with it. He thanked me for it. So so I enjoy watching his content on and off. And he's outside in the fire. I love his camping gear. Fantastic camping gear. But I'm sad for him. He was saying the things that I'm saying. He shared that that place that I visited, one of those two places, Sweden, is the RAPE capital of Europe. I was shocked. They're very conservative there, the people there in Sweden. And for that to happen to them, I am so sad. I'm so sorry for them. And I know a girl from Sweden, married to a relative of mine, my cousin. Very nice girl. Quiet, loves her children with my cousin. Not nice, she made a nice life for her. Uh, she was an au pair when she came to the country. Yes, she was. Yes, she played her card right. Got my cousin, who loves her, and they're forming a happy life together. She's a nice person. Um, so, but she's protective over her man. Doesn't let anybody come in between. Yes, yes. But a good person. She's, mellow. Um, yeah, she brought her kids that she had with my cousin to know their homeland. Well, her homeland. But now, yeah, she's from Stockholm, and I've been in Stockholm. It was a nice city, clean. I went in the winter. It was all snow all over, but it was nice and safe. I walked all over. It was safe back then. Safe. I walked in the middle of the night. Yeah, I. It wasn't wise for me to do that, in hindsight, but I did. I walked by myself. And I'm very sad to hear, yeah, that was about 37 years ago. I'm very sad to hear that it is the RAPE of Europe. And you have people of a particular religion who feel, some of them, they're young people, they're angry people, some of these people. And they're taking advantage of the people's niceness. They're friendly there in that country. Sweden, laid back, conservative, and I perceive that with the immigration that they have there now, they're flooded with young men, military age. And I guess those hormones are kicking in their anger, and they're not able to assimilate or whatever. I mean, they're laid back. I saw videos of them welcoming, giving them, holding up signs, welcome to our country. They're being sponsored and all this stuff. I would have loved to. I wanted to live there. Yeah, I wanted to live in Scandinavia. Yeah, I wanted to live there. When I went to visit, I said, I want to live here. Don't you dare live there now. I talked a little bit about these things, these issues before in past videos. But I just watched that fellow YouTuber, excellent content. And I'm grieved to hear that. It's good. People go visit different countries. When people go to, like, let's say France, they want to see French people, French culture, French food. Yes, they have other things there. You go to Scandinavia, you want to see Scandinavian people, Scandinavian food, Scandinavian, etc., etc., etc. And enjoy. But now you have people who are ruining it. And it's done deliberately. The forces out there, in my opinion. In my opinion. To bring massive number of young men in particular. A hungry man is an angry man. That is a calypso song. An hungry man is an angry man. What do some angry men do when you don't have money? You don't feel comfortable with, maybe you've faced dangers in your home countries, and then when you get out of that war zone or whatever part of it, you leash out. You can't cope. So you take it out on women and children. Even the little children they are attacking, they have public pools. Yeah, I was going to go to a public pool when I was there. I said, why they got a public pool? Yeah, I was going to go there. But I did it, the time restraints when I was there. Yeah, I only had 3 days to be there. So it's going to be 3 days in Norway and 3 days in Sweden, and then go home. Yeah, I just wanted to get away for the holidays. They are violating the children in the pool. Could you believe that? Someone welcomes you in their country, and then this is how you repay them. Wow. Yeah, so when I learned of this again, listen, he talked about this before, the YouTuber, Hansen. I feel his pain. That's what I told him. I wrote a comment. I feel your pain. And I told him that it's happening right here in New York City. And I also told him, I said, and having brown skin does not protect me from this problem here in New York City. Yeah, I wanted that to be known. Yeah, I put my, 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 I my picture on my thumbnail. I want people to know who I am. I don't try to hide my look like um, some people might want to do on their channel. I want people to know I'm a woman of color. I'm a black woman. Oh, yes, and of mixed heritage, yes. But I'm not safe either. And growing up, some people might think, oh, well, uh, how could you be in danger? You look like some of those people. You're a person of color. Well, skinfolk isn't kinfolk. Um, how you're raised, your education or religion, your habits, hobbies, lifestyle, all these things make up a person. And if you don't fit the mold, and again, I'm an American citizen, born and raised here. I'm very American. They hear me. Oh, okay, she's some type of American. And some might think that I'm of a particular ethnic group, but I am not. And when you're in the workforce, you are tried. This migrant immigration thing has been creating havoc in my life. At first, I welcomed it. I loved meeting different types of people. My grandparents, as I mentioned, were immigrants. They assimilated. My parents were born and raised here, went through the system. First generation, very assimilated culturally, socially, everything. Served in the military, my father and myself. I'm very pro-American. But yes, growing up, slowly and picking up more, um, I thought these immigrants were my friends. I loved watching the immigrant experience. Because see, I didn't know my grandparents really. A little bit my grandfather on my mom's side. He lived with us a little bit. But I didn't really know, I didn't know my heritage. I didn't know what I was. I didn't really fit in. But when I learned when I was 18, I think I just turned 18 or 17 going on 18, about my background. And so I wanted to feel like I belonged someplace. I have a heritage, because when I entered the job market, everything, one's identity or with regard to race and ethnicity was such in your face, was such an issue. And I needed something to make me feel like I belong somewhere. I have a heritage. And so when I see the people from all over the world, I used to think and romanticize, wow, this is what my grandparents must have lived like. And it made me feel like I belonged. I was part of something larger. I welcomed people from all over the world. And these were generally the people who I was in contact with. Mainstream America really wasn't a part of my life. Yes, they're around me, but not really a part of my life. Once I became an adult, meaning once I graduated from high school and entered the job market and went to college in the big city, people really, I just didn't fit in. I was more like an explorer. I was curious about life. I lived a very sheltered life growing up, and I wanted to know what was out there and try to find my space in life. And more and more, you know, meeting more and more people from other places, and I was very curious. And I noticed that there were favoritism being developed. Yes, good morning, YouTube. Visitor here, viewer. Good morning, welcome. So, yeah, I see the sun. I'm sorry, the sky is starting to get a little brighter in color. The sunrise is gonna come about shortly, within I think the next 20 minutes or so. So, oh yeah. So I just took things in stride, but I noticed that it was picking up this. I noticed that certain groups were being favored over others, and how people started to envy these new groups of other blacks, you know. Yeah, blacks were never really liked in New York City, where I live, where I'm from. Yeah, never really liked. A lot of suspicions were put on us. But we had this new group coming in from Latin America, as it's called today. And you had some blacks who were being affected negatively by this and um, trying to disguise their identity. You had, I never forgot this. I had my own place by this time in the probably the worst neighborhood in the city, but I was proud of it because it was my apartment. It was in a slum building, a slum landlord, a typical place, but it's what you make out of it. I was very positive about it. I liked how what attracted me to it. It was the only place I saw actually. When I walked in, I said I want it. And I saw that I would be able to fix it up, paint it. It was 400. I talked it down to $400 a month, and I told the landlord that I would just paint it myself. Um, yeah, it was a slum neighborhood, drug infested, but it was my neighborhood. It was my new neighborhood. I was living in the city. It was way uptown on 149th Street, way up there. And one day, I had went to I think it was a record store. Yeah, back in the day, we used to have places where you can buy records, to play, listen to music. I think that's how I met her. And somehow, we exchanged numbers, and she called me. I didn't understand why she called, but it said, this is what happened. She says, hey, my name is, what was it? Chiquita, something like Chiquita, something like that. It was a name of that banana. They have these, yeah, I think it's Chiquita banana or something. And she says, oh, my name is Chiquita. Do you believe me? She was a dark-skinned black American woman. And she calls me to try to convince me that she really is a Hispanic female and not a black American. That's all she called me to say. And then she hung up. It was so bizarre. Yeah, we would, back then, this was in the latter 1980s, like 1987. And I saw how businesses were hiring people from other countries, and they were replacing black Americans. And I think the black women in particular were very hurt by this. I'm being very frank about this. Oh, wow, the sky's getting bright and bright. See that? It's getting real bright now. Um, they were sad and angry. Um, both groups, and when I say Hispanic, I'm talking about the Hispanics from the Caribbean, primarily from Puerto Rico. And you had a growing number from the Dominican Republic. These were the new flavors that were well, people from Puerto Rico are U.S. citizens. It's part of the U.S., it is a territory. And some Puerto Ricans seem to forget that it is a territory of the United States and is a part of America. They get paid in American money in Puerto Rico. And I think it's a love-hate that people from Puerto Rico may have about the U.S. mainland. Yes, the U.S. took over they acquired that island and other islands, like the U.S. Virgin Islands, around the same time. That's where um, half of my grandparents were from, St. Croix. And that's how they were able to come to the U.S. As citizens. But they're still immigrants in the sense that they weren't born under the American flag, but the U.S. acquired them. So I understand that. It's a love-hate. Puerto Rico has a lot of crime and poverty there. And so that's why many of them come to New York especially. But they have a different way of life. They dress a little different, very different. And the women in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean in particular, especially the Caribbean, very Catholic islands, they're more traditional in their way of dress, uh, roles of the different roles. Women are trained to be women. They dress as women. They're groomed to be wives, so to speak, domestic. That's how they're raised as. And so in the U.S., the role play of women is not as keen. It was changing. By the time the 1980s hit, the roles of women were changing. And again, I lived in an urban area, urban America, and they have black Americans. Those, here generations after generation after generations here in America. I'm really referring to. Things were changing culturally because they had to move to the big city. So from the south, they moved up north. It was a mass migration of many American black families. But the U.S. was bringing in this new supply of workers, low-skilled workers. And the women in general were from Latin America would be perceived as very sexy clothes. And I'm not going to say what they were saying back then in the 1980s. And I think the guys liked it. The construction workers liked it. And they would hire these women to, because they like looking at them, at, their certain body parts. And they were also how the system was working back then in the 1980s as I got older. Yeah, in 1980 I turned 18 at the end of the year. And so I'm just a young adult and I'm experiencing these things, how people would treat blacks or mixed race blacks who spoke Spanish one way, But American blacks who spoke English were being treated another way. Do you notice that? Did you notice that, those of you who lived back then in the 1980s? What did you experience? What did you see? And so more and more, what they call Latin America, for the office jobs, were being taken away from black American women. And I slowly started seeing them getting angrier and angrier because they were being overlooked with jobs. What also was being said was, oh, we want someone who's bilingual for this job. And what they really want to say is they want someone Spanish speaking. Am I not speaking the truth? Am I not speaking the truth? This is what was being said so that they didn't have to hire an American black woman. But the women that they were hiring, they couldn't speak English. So it's not like someone who's bilingual. They wanted someone who was Hispanic. And then you pay them less also. One thing with American black women, they're verbal. And they get angry. They share their anger. They were angry. They saw what was happening. And I saw this trend happening more. And I think at the same time I was because see, they were from the Caribbean, like my family's from the Caribbean. So I thought we were all one. I thought we were all one of the immigrant experience. They were pretty people who knew how to, have their hair dressed very nicely. They styled their hair very nicely. The black salons didn't really, they didn't do black hair justice back then. They didn't have, see, the institutions here in America, the institutions for even beauty, blacks did not control. Blacks weren't encouraged to look pretty. They were taught they were ugly. They were taught just because of the color of their skin that they were ugly, that their body parts were ugly. And I think it did a number on many of us, especially my dark-skinned sisters out there. They knew they were being overlooked, and they knew they weren't considered pretty. And this was a mind blower to many of us. Many of the men were dating outside of their, black men were dating, being interested in these foreign imports. So the black woman was losing job opportunities, were losing opportunities to find a boyfriend. And I think many of the black women were afraid and didn't like me because I look a little different. I'm keeping it real. Don't go near them because I'm a threat because they think I'm going to take their man. See, it's insecurity. And I understand their pain. I understand how they feel. But I'm not like that. And that's not what I was about. But it was fear. And so this was in the 1980s. And I think as time went on, the women from these exotic places saw that they were being favored and was pushing it in our face, even in the military. And back then in the 1980s, the numbers were still small, but it was still effective in their influence over the population, black America in particular. I remember in the military, there was a woman, she was from Puerto Rico, and no, this is not an anti-Puerto Rico rant, but I'm just sharing my experiences and what was the flavor, what was happening, what they call Latin America. I like Latin America. I love that they are. They know who they are. They know that they're women, and they're reared to, for female roles. The men are men, the women are women. They know their roles in life. And I know I'm not trying to be sexist either. I'm not trying to be sexist. We all live, right? If you are over 50 and up, you know exactly what I'm talking about role plays. We grew up learning our roles of how to be a woman, how to cook, clean, right? Certain responsibilities, certain things we were exposed to. But this was fading in the American culture in general. In general. But what happened, what I witnessed in the military, you had only, I think, when I was in boot camp, we had, as I remember, three Hispanic people, what we call Hispanic. One of Mexican ancestry. She was dark brown, and then two light-skinned Puerto Ricans. One born in the Bronx, and the other one born in Puerto Rico. But the one that was born in the Bronx was very hostile, very antagonizing. She was antagonizing verbally against the white girls and blacks, myself. It was very few black people too. You just had when I say black, I mean American blacks, non-Hispanic. There was a massive number of whites. They were the mass majority in boot camp and overall military back then in the 1980s when I joined. I was in the Navy. And how she was trying to antagonize the other women. And she would say, oh, they're trying to get me. Oh, things like that. She had the company commander, a white guy, around her finger. Some of these women, they learned the art of, I don't want to say seduction, but how to play the white man and how to get favor and to even antagonize white women. And she tried to antagonize me. She would tell lies on people and then say, so-and-so, someone is bothering me. This is what she would do. She was a little younger than me. I was 25 when I entered the military. So she could have been 19 maybe. Yeah, she had just gotten married, she said. Oh, I'm married to, she was related to every well-known person, she said. And her husband was a nuke. That was considered a status thing. So she wanted to make people think that she was bigger than she was. Oh, wow, look at the sun. Look at that, how it's getting brighter so fast. Yes, good morning, sunrise. Yeah, what time is it now? Let's see. Oh, wow. It's 7:17, so it's about sunrise right now. Good morning, sunrise. Yeah, I forgot to check. Yeah, it's sunrise around now, or in like 3 minutes. I forget, but it's 7:17 a.m. Wow, look how bright it got! Just like boom. It's fantastic. Good morning, sunrise out there. So, what she did to me, now she said, now again, I had no issues with her or people from her background. Yeah, back then, there were a large number of Puerto Ricans in larger cities like New York. You had also grown number of people from the Dominican Republic, but back then in the 80s, the larger ethnic group were Puerto Ricans. But even though in the military there were only two Puerto Ricans in my troop, and what she would do, like she sat right in front of me in this one class, And then she turned around, looked at me, and then kicked my chair really, really hard. And she thought I was one of those street black girls. See, she's assuming because I'm a non-Hispanic black that I would be, well, the stereotype about black American women that we get all mouthy and, I'm going to say the word niggerish, right? She had like a tan complexion. Um, she would be considered pretty. She had short, uh, curly hair, what we call curly straight hair. Like had large curls, naturally. She had beautiful skin, very smooth. And so I didn't say anything. And back in those, I was very analytical, like now. And I wondered, what the hell is she doing? I didn't understand why. Turn around in your chair and then kick my chair. And then look at me real stupid like. I realized, and someone did something like this in my work days in the 1980s. Yeah, I can talk about that too. Yeah, it was a white lady, and she did something to try to provoke me from acting niggerish. So I didn't say anything. I was very passive back then, also very very shy, very passive, and I didn't understand why she did what she did. So she thought I was going to, so she learned, okay, she can't do that with me. She's not reactive. So I see that some people of certain communities from the Caribbean in particular, I'm not talking about Mexico or Peru. That's a different class of people. I am not addressing that. People who are from have black connections and uh, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, are both islands that were heavily in slavery, were enslaved. They know what happened to blacks in the American South or like Jamaica or Haiti happened in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic as well. But when they come to the U.S., they want to hide that history. They want to hide the pain of slavery because they look a little different and they rely on this. And they didn't want to, at times, I knew a friend, I thought she was a friend, and she was a very light-skinned Puerto Rican, and she could pass as a white person. And things change when she started dating. We met all together. She was introduced to this German fellow. He was born in Germany and came to the U.S. as a child. And that is what happened. Uh, I know I did speak of that matter, what happened in our friendship. But yeah, the craving to be accepted by white America was a very strong issue in my experience with many Hispanics from the Caribbean. I'm not pointing at Mexico, Peru, Argentina, Chile, and I talk about those places. And as their numbers started to grow in New York City, and it was a wedge that started to develop, and resentment. Because you started to get these microaggressions in the workforce. And so what I thought we were all immigrants. Again, I'm the grandchild of immigrants. and thought we were all friends and all one. But I started to see and experience microaggressions, just like what happened in the military. And this was only one of two Puerto Rican women in a sea of other women who's different from her. So even though she was a minority within a minority, the confidence she had, she knew that she was being treated differently or favored because of cheap labor and men's fetishes. And it grew, and it grew. This, what I call microaggressions. Well, again, I think kicking my chair and wanting me to react is more than a microaggression. I then had got, some years later, maybe 10, 15 years later from that incident, I got out of the military. Um, I had gotten this dream job in advertising. Yeah, I worked in so many industries too, people. And it started to attach itself again, this microaggression of immigrants from some of these nations. And again, I just, we're all friends. And I think I was fascinated by the people of the Caribbean because my background's Caribbean, and the women in Latin America are able to grow their hair longer, right? They're very feminine. They wear their makeup very nicely. They can dress very well when they want to, yes. Very feminine. And I'm from a family of very male dominated. And so I like seeing other women to dress. See, I didn't know how to do my hair, 'cause I was very male. I lived in a very male dominated household. And they didn't like me getting dressed up. And so I wanted to learn how to dress more feminine, how to do my hair. I have Afro texture hair, and the women in my family don't have my texture hair. So I looked outside of my family to learn how to do my hair and all that training. So I looked up to them as a role models, how to, you know, how to do certain things, how to, do my hair, all this stuff. Um, so I acquired this job. I worked my buns off to get the job. I thought it was going to be paradise. But they had, now I was hired permanent staff. It was a very prestigious position. It didn't pay high. I mean, but it paid, every time I got a new job, always got more money. And I was just grateful that I got the job, and I thought it was going to grow into something beautiful, people. But there at the office was a Dominican girl, a darker skinned Dominican girl with beautiful wavy hair just past her shoulders, very like a loose curl. It was beautiful, her hair. Well, what happened? Yeah, and my new boss was married to uh, a Hispanic woman. He was a white guy. He very insecure man. He had a temp. Wow, I didn't know he had this other edge to him. But either way, I thought it was going to be my dream job. I had gotten a new wardrobe to really have a good impression to my boss and everybody else. Well, what was there waiting for me was to be what I now call microaggressions. She was a Dominican woman, cute girl, very pretty. She was a little younger than me. She was a temp, and she was going to law school John Jay College. And I was going to art school. Yeah, I thought I wanted to be an artist. And this advertising company, one of the largest in the world, was going to be my footstool, to to become an artist. I was learning about art, and I went to art school in the evening and worked in the day at this job. And but this girl from the Dominican Republic was there, and I met many. This was in the 1995. And now at this time, you have a growing number of people from the Dominican Republic. Beautiful people, but sad that they too try to hide their African heritage. They hide it. They come to you and say, "Oh, I'm not black. In my country, they call me Indian." They have this fascination when they're dark skinned. They have this fascination to try to make you think that they are not black people, but they're Indian, Native American Indian. Just fascinated when they see my color. Many of them are my complexion, but they know I'm not Hispanic. They were acquaintance of mine, that I had associated with, and in the past. Um, and I wonder why when I meet people from the Dominican Republic, why they always want to tell you what they're not, and so it's like a what they don't want to be associated with their blackness or Black America, but they like to party with Black America. The music, the dance music. I used to belong to this thing in Central Park. And yeah, there were a lot of Dominicans back then, a lot of people from all over the world. It was a very nice, eclectic group of people. We all socialized together. But I noticed at times the Dominican ones would tell me these weird things that, oh, in my country, they call me Indian. Really. And I wonder why I don't care what you are. See, I wasn't raised to separate people because of their color or their nationality or anything like that. So I didn't understand, why is this an issue with you? We're all people, right? But I knew about racism with white people, white America. I'm being real. I understood that that people who were brown or black, whatever, non-whites, were disliked by white people back in the day. That was my experience. But some were nice. Some individuals were nice. But either way, microaggressions started increasing. And one day, at the job, this new plush job that I was in, had a woman from the Dominican Republic. And what she was doing, what she told, we were, I lasted there 2 months, people. 2 months of pure hell. She would talk to him in his office. She was going to be the babysitter for my boss. Yeah, I heard the conversation. And she convinced my boy, here she is a temp, a part-time temp, and I'm a full staffer employed by the company. And she talked to my boss into not having me attend this international meeting, but she. And I have to stay behind. Could you believe that? And she had brought her sister one day to the office, and they sneered at me. I don't do what she does. I do a different job. But this is what you call microaggressions. They let you know that you're not wanted, and they are the new flavor of the month. And the sad thing is, I had a friend from the Dominican Republic, a young lady that I tried to help. So I'm not against someone because where they're from. I didn't understand what was happening. But see, now, see, I'm older. And what I call microaggressions. You can have them, you can invite them to your parties, social events. They all love a good time. Free entertainment, free food, free music, yeah. But when it comes to work, employment, it comes out. It comes out big time. And so trying to sabotage my work relationship with my boss. It was a very small office. It was my boss's assistant, um, the head secretary who's from Greece, very nice girl. She was nice to me. Myself and the temp. Just like the girl when I was in the military, in boot camp, that microaggression to go to the white man and do things to stir up problems and even make up lies to hold you back. Some of these individuals who come from these exotic places in Latin America, in particular, from the Caribbean, are very ungrateful and feel entitled because they're the new flavor. And they know that you're not liked. They know that they don't want black non-Hispanics in these jobs. And like many Caribbean women, and I'm a Caribbean woman in background, they want to rub it in your face. And I know this might be offending people. I'm not trying to offend people. I'm keeping it real. When you get people from hungry ass places in the world, and then you're bringing them by the load, they learn quickly the politics, what's going on. And they learn quickly who they are replacing. And they let you have it. And they rub it in your face. This is what happened. And also that job, that same job, a Jewish woman, very pretty Jewish woman. She might have been a little younger than me at the time. Very, natural blonde and blue-eyed, these big boobs, very shapely girl, very pretty. She knew she was pretty. But she was in an undesirable department. We had a lot of grudge work. And she was telling me that she was Jewish. And that's why I make a point of saying that she was Jewish, because she made an issue that she was Jewish. And she came over to my desk when she says, how come get this, how come you got this job? I deserve your job. I bust my ass, blah, 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 blah. I should be having your job. How did you get your job? So I walked away from her. And she followed me into the ladies' bathroom. I kid you not. Yelling at me. See, I was very timid. This was in the 1990s. This was 95. 1995, early 1995. I couldn't take the pressure with these people. This it's way more than just microaggressions. Boy, this was a major attack. And they had one black woman there, American black woman there. And actually, her part of her actions actually got me X'd out of that company. It was doomed to happen. And I felt sick. I was there for 2 months, 2 long months. And I started to feel very sick in my body. Yeah, I wasn't well. probably my blood pressure went way up the kazoo. And when I got fired from the job, this incident that happened, I felt like I was set up. I was relieved. I was relieved. And when I got out of the office, I cried and I cried. Yeah. Yeah, this was 1995, that company. But the microaggressions continued in America, in New York City, where I'm from. And that's what's happening now. You go to some uh, businesses and you just have them there. And I'm not trying to be biased, but rather expose that Americans are being treated biasly and being overlooked. See, I thought growing up it was only me that was faced these problems, but no, it was it's growing epidemic. And so, as I mentioned early in this live stream, the video I was watching, this guy from Scandinavia, and he was sharing how his country is being invaded by people. What they're doing for Europeans, they're being bombarded by people of Islamic nations. Scandinavia is heavily Christian, heavily, and very conservative, but they're social. They're bringing in to topple over Europe. Now, I like Europe. I've been in Europe when I was in the military, and again, before I entered the military, I went to Europe by myself. And I had a good ass time. Keep Europe, Europe. Keep Africa, Africa. Keep America, America. Keep Asia, Asia. But enjoy the culture of all these nations. Respect their culture and their customs. That's what I'm all about. But it's these migrations are being used deliberately to destabilize nations like Scandinavia, where I visited. They treated me very well there when I was there. It is the RAPE capital of Europe. That country that I visited, Sweden in particular. They're very friendly, they're conservative, but they're goodly people. And now the women there are being violated, and the children are being violated. So I listened to the YouTuber earlier this morning, which led me to do this live stream. I felt sorry for her. I felt badly. And I shared on his, in the comments section of his video, I feel your pain. He said, Europe is going down, it's downhill. It's not going to recover. And I think he's right. Some of you who may be listening might be saying, what do you care, Spirit Journey? You're a woman of color. You're not Scandinavian. What do you care about Whitey? Well, very good point. Very good point if that's what you're thinking. Or those who will be watching this video. Those who want to hear truth. My truth. If someone treats you well, they treat you well. When I was in their country, I was treated well. It's nothing for me to visit anymore because it's not what it used to be. It's changed. And what that man is experiencing in his country, I've experienced it, and I am experiencing it now. I live in New York City, and I went out yesterday with my fur babies. It was unreal, the congestion and the tension in the air. of these people. Are they evil? No, I never said that. The new migrants are not coming from the Dominican Republic. These are coming from Central and South America. They have a different flavor. And they're coming in, the women are coming in pregnant. And they're having their babies here in the United States. Instant citizenship. You think in the past, in the 1980s and 90s, that you're being pushed out of your job from the people from the Caribbean, showing off because they're favored by, the white man here? Well, you have a whole nation that's being transformed overnight from even poorer nations. The drug cartels that are abound. And they're moving in the city near you. They don't have jobs. They have low skilled workers coming in pregnant, the women. Instant citizenship, those babies that are born, acquiring every benefit that here that is affecting black Americans that live in these big cities. Yeah, a lot of the blacks now do not live in those small towns. They live in big cities like this one that I live. Big towns like New York City where I live. And during the COVID, the past 3 years, it hurt many of us. There were many deaths from the black community here. The stress was killing them. What else? Locked indoors. And drug use like you wouldn't believe. I'm born and raised here, and I never saw what I see now. Never. People doing IV drug use. Young people openly doing it. Seeing blood run down their arm because they're putting the needle in the arm. Seeing the blood run down. Oh, I'm not kidding. I've never seen that. Sickening. Seeing black men dressing like women. Look like a crazy because they're doing drugs. And I was told there's a place nearby that is catering to the people that don't know what they're male, dressing like females, but they're guys. A place for them to hang out with. They're out of their mind. Young black women struggling to take care of their children. You don't see in this neighborhood. You don't see in my neighborhood any black people working in this very rare, very rarely. Some companies, they might hire American blacks. And when I see that, I go and I patron those stores. But the mass majority of these buildings that you see here, these companies here, all foreign workers. Even the white-collar jobs are all foreign workers. And I'm supposed to sit back and take it. You're even having whites coming into New York City from other cities who are out of their mind. They look even worse than some of the street blacks. I'm being real. Yeah. And so again, with these women that are coming to the U.S. pregnant, yeah, they get the full benefits. I went to the neighborhood clinic. It looks pretty, it looks well kept, my neighborhood clinic, to make an appointment for the dentist. Get this, people. The next available spot for dental care is May of next year. That's over 6 months. You do the math. It's October. And they said May of next year, there's a spot available. Why is this? Because you have a fuckload, and I'm using that word, a fuckload of migrants who are occupying our American seats for basic health care. Basic health care. And I hope you can hear me. And it's okay to respond. You don't have to like what I'm saying. I'm being very honest. I am very, very sad right now. Very sad. See, see, I welcomed them with open arms when they came in the 1980s. I relished these, what I thought, pretty immigrant people, and imagining that, wow, the immigrant life. Because, see, my grandparents were immigrants. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you. I need encouragement too. I don't ask for much for my channel, but it's nice to know that somebody hears me. That's all. I want to be heard. I don't ask for much. So I saw, I envied them. How will you feel as a woman? You see everybody liking everybody else but you. Marrying them, taking care of their kids. And then the other thing I was seeing was that they would entrap the guy, the American guy, but then do things behind the back. I know someone, they weren't even married yet. See, doesn't also have to make it, also say that it doesn't matter about, see, you can be from Latin America and you could be of any race. You could be of any race. And it doesn't matter if they're jet black with 100% African blood or the typical light-skinned mulatto with long hair. Doesn't matter. They see you as an outsider and they want to destroy you and remove you from your position. I know of this person. They weren't even married. She lied to him about what she had. She didn't have a pot to piss in. And the guy came from a more middle class environment. So his health was getting bad, trying to impress her. He was trying to impress her and pay for, the wedding. All of a sudden, her culture doesn't allow her to pay for in her culture, the bride pays for the wedding. But this chick convinced him he's to pay. And all this other crap. And they're bewitched. Some of these women in they bewitched the American men. They bewitched them. Oh, yes. And convinced him, you're not feeling well, honey? Oh, okay. I know we're not married now, but go get a health insurance policy and put my name on it. I kid you not. I kid you not. And other stuff. Yeah, be careful. I hope men are going to hear this. Men, American men, regardless of your race, color, whatever, be careful of some of these imports from these countries here in the Americas, because some of them do a type of witchcraft, and bewitch the men to have them do things that they don't, wouldn't normally do. And when you die, oh, that's okay, because I just collect and send the money home to their people. That is also another thing. They're about protecting their own. And Black America should do the same. Protect your own. Protect your own. Are all of them like that? No. I'm not saying that. But when you come from a nation of lack, especially if you come from the transatlantic slave experience, your ancestors, that in particular, um, is a group that is very much into um, escaping their heritage and do anything to be liked, to get a job, and to live the American dream at your expense, Black America and white America. One thing in Latin America, they are taught about family and community. Yes, they have a lot of poverty and a lot of corruption, but at least in these countries, they are taught the importance of community. Am I speaking the truth, people? Am I speaking the truth, or is this a lie? In general, they know about community, they know about role play, the roles of men and women, they do. And they're also into their religion. So all these factors at play. The microaggressions could attach itself to a relative of yours. You go to work. This job that I had, and I talked about this too, right after the 9/11. Yeah, there were shipments of people, migrants, being smuggled into New York City. See, I saw a lot of things, but I said nothing because, it is what it is. And again, the immigrant experience, like my grandparents, because I didn't know my grandparents, and I wanted to feel that I come from heritage back then. I didn't know, I wanted an identity to feel like I have something to look, to be proud of. And so I admired meeting other immigrants. It was as if I was meeting my family, my ancestors. That's how I saw it as. But I saw more and more. They didn't see me as their own, and they wanted to remove me. And they didn't want to be associated with so-called black people, black non-Hispanic. Yeah, I worked at this company across the street from the World Trade Center, and so I got to see all that mess. And I had to work there. Again, I didn't survive too long. But yeah, microaggressions, big time. Actual fight. I was attacked by one of them. Yeah, and things I had liked them. Oh, I pronounced this woman's name wrong. It wasn't exactly. I'm not from there. Okay, I don't speak that language, and I like the person, but it was a person standing next to her. They're from the same country. They're from the Dominican Republic. They're a little lighter than me, and they got angry. That's not how you pronounce her name. There. I'm not even talking to her. But see, they gang up. They saw me as a competitor. And I had liked these people. This was in 2002, early 2002. And jobs were real hard to come by. And I was in such a mess back then. Yeah. Um, these microaggressions. And I had one, like, I had to work the front desk, customer service at this retail store. And one of these people, like if I did the first shift, she would have to, she'd come in the afternoon and vice versa. Well, she didn't feel that she had to move from the desk when I came, nor should I. I would go, she's at the desk, I would work around, her and fix up the department. But when she came in the second shift and I'm at the desk, she pushed me out. Tried to push me out. Like, she's here. And yeah, this is what was happened. This happened. And that person attacked me. I warned the management. I said, manager, she's acting funny. And she doesn't want to say, yeah, I was responsible uh, to give out the checks, the paychecks. She didn't want to sign for the checks. I said, she's going to do something against me. I feel that she's going to hurt me. I told 3 managers, and the manager standing right there that particular day when I present her check for her to sign for it, because the manager told me if she says no, hold the check. Do not hand it to her until she signed it. Well, this chick, with the same manager who I spoke to, she grabbed my hand and dug her nails into my hand. And we were fighting over the envelope. The manager's just watching. Guess who got fired for that? I did. This is what you call microaggressions. Yeah, I didn't share that aspect of that incident in detail, but yeah. This is how many of them are. She was from I think a Dominican girl. She was a little darker than me. See, it doesn't matter, light or dark. They're from that other culture. And you, Black America, are perceived as an outsider and a foreigner in your own country. And I love these people. They're very family oriented. I like some of the foods. We're both Caribbean people. What I care, I care, I don't care what you are. But they care. They care. And they get away with harming some of us. There were other fights with people because of their hunger for money, getting out of poverty from these nations. You go to these nations, they don't have running water in their kitchen. They are living like animals, some of them. And they get an opportunity to come to a place like America. But when they see Black America or the so-called minority, they learn right away who is this social undesirable. And they go on the attack. Women. I've never heard this from the men, the male counterpart. It'd be interesting to know what some of the men have done here. So now, fast forward, see, that was 2002, that attack at that retail company. So now, fast forward, 2023, in October, late October, you have a large number of single young men in their 20s, military age, and they somehow they are provided motorbikes. So they're helping them with industry, because some of them I think are delivering food. But again, I live in New York City, and the Black Americans here are jobless. The young Black American men's here, and they have no jobs. what the hell they're supposed to do. Why would you do that? Why would you bring these people in a place like New York City where you have a lot of poverty amongst the black community and have the black men have to compete now? It's not, it's no competition. You know why? Because they're on drugs. And these people here somehow they're being sponsored. They get free food, clothing. They're not in rats, people. They could travel out of state with those motorbikes. Hello, these black Americans, they don't have any motorbike. They can't afford that. So it's deliberately pushing out black America from their own country. I am so sad. So when I went out yesterday and I see all this, well, yeah, I left at a different hour than I usually, and when I was coming back, I saw a lot, and it was really nice day. It was really hot yesterday, very hot. Yeah, you didn't need a sweater, even it was hot. And I'm seeing all this congestion, and it's going to happen. It's going to pop. New York City is going to pop. My favorite city, my beautiful city in the world. We have all the amenities here, and they know it. These migrants know it. And they don't respect your customs. They don't respect you. And you have the Americans here, the American women here who are being overlooked. Classrooms. Now you have to share your classroom, and you're the minority in your own fucking country. Making you feel small. They're going to speak their native tongue in front of you, so you're going to feel like, oh, wow, I don't know what they're saying. Yeah, black America, we don't harass them. We don't bother their corner. But they come into black neighborhoods and open up commerce. But they don't hire us. That is also my complaint. They do not hire us. They don't hire black America. Not even the black Latinos, as they called at times. Not even them hire us. Not even them. And there was this application I saw. Yeah, I had to get this fingerprints done. And on the application, you have to write down what your race is. I think the first was black or African American, Asian, Native American, and I think the last one was, get this, they joined white and Hispanic in one category. White and Hispanic. They said whites / Hispanic. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Latino. I'm sorry, Latino. Not Hispanic, Latino. So now they're classifying whites and Latinos in the same category. Maybe that's why they're bringing them in, because they're going to be considered as honorary whites people, and to push out black America. And so when I went out there yesterday, I felt depressed the whole day. I thought, let me go to some of the areas that I like going to, and the sun was really beautiful. Had my fur babies with me, and I just couldn't shrug off the emotional pain I was feeling. I couldn't shrug it. I'm sad because my country and New York City, where I live, I feel trapped in my apartment. I don't like going out as much. And I felt this way for several months now. Because what I see, I see a lot of stuff. I see the microaggression, the cattiness of some of these people. And it's not just people from Latin America, from other parts of the Americas as well. Catty, this woman from Jamaica, and she at the park, and I would nod and say hello. And when she's with her countrymen, or she's a countrywoman, uh, they don't respond. But I said to myself, "Oh, just let it go. They're in deep conversation, whatever." But one day, this woman, and we're going in different directions at the park. She says, "Oh, I want to ask you a question." Like now, she usually walks with this other person, like a walking partner at the park. But this time, the partner wasn't there, the walking buddy. And so she asked me one time, "Oh, did you see my walking partner?" She says, "No, I haven't seen her today." I said, "Oh, okay." And then I bumped into her on another occasion, and this is where again the microaggression comes. Now, she didn't have her walking buddy with her, but I have my stroller with my little dogs in there. She says, "I want to ask you something." And she asked me something that was very pointed in nature. And what she was getting at was, well, you only go into the park to walk your dogs. Well, I don't need any dogs to walk. I have myself. Really nasty. And when she said what she said, I kind of like, whoa, like shocked. And then she just huffs away. Well, I said to myself, well, I'm not going to deal with her anymore. So the next time I was to, walk past her, I just kept on going. And she got offended. Well, she goes, oh, her partner comes back, at some time, and they're walking together. And she evidently told the other girl, her countrywoman, that I didn't speak to her, even though she had said something nasty to me. And she had a smirk on her face, her friend. She says, "Oh, hi." So I said, "Hello." And they're like they tested me. Let's see if she says hello. So I prayed about it because the anger that I was feeling with this person. See, it was an attack, and I knew the nature of her comment was to microaggression, as I call it. But I prayed for her. I said, because I am on a spiritual walk, but spirituality doesn't mean to avoid how you feel. But I did pray about the man. I said, I think she's only doing this because she doesn't have a walking partner and she feels left alone. And she, so she takes it out on me because I have my little dogs and she doesn't have anybody. So I prayed to the universe that the universe would find a partner for her to walk with or get her old partner back to walk with. And lo and behold, the next time I saw her, she had a walking partner. And I was so happy for her. And then I saw her again, and she was by herself. And I told her, I said, she said hello. I said, I need to talk to you. I said, you probably wonder why I didn't say anything to you that other time. She says, oh, I bet it's because what I said about that. So she knew what the issue was. She says, yeah, when I said that to you, I saw how you jumped and that it offended you. She says, I say things like that. It's just my way. And and then she gives an apology. And she says, but I don't need people. Because, see, I had said, before she explained why she said what she said in detail, I said, well, I prayed for you. I saw how, I didn't like what you said to me, but I prayed for you that you would get someone to walk with. And you have. Because I knew that you probably didn't want to walk alone. She says, well, I don't need to walk with anybody. And she's trying to make an excuse like she doesn't need people. But that's what the issue was. See, she was from Jamaica, and she didn't want to, and she was an older woman. She was in her 70s, but she's a very healthy 70-year-old woman. She's 74 actually. And again, she's showing off that also at this conversation, because we started talking for the first time. I mean, the other in the past, I would just say good morning or good afternoon, and that was it. But this time, we're having a conversation. And of course, she wants to let me know how much money she has, and her husband, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And microaggressions that some of these immigrants, regardless of race, and I met plenty of Jamaicans. And again, it's not an anti-Jamaican, but the patterns that I see, there are patterns of behavior, and that they don't want you to succeed because you're in the way of their happiness, they feel. Seeing another black face, regardless where you're from, if you're not from where they're from, is a threat to them. They feel it's a threat or competition, and they want to get rid of you, or they want to assert themselves that they're better than you for whatever reason. I wasn't taught to think this way or to do these things towards people. This was a couple of months ago, that incident with that woman from Jamaica. Grown-ass woman with an adult child. They don't like to see you happy. They don't like to see when you're happy and you're by yourself. I lived in the Caribbean as well. I had an opportunity to live in the Caribbean. They don't like to see you happy or not needing someone to take care of you. They're envious and jealous. And they'll say these aggressions and hostilities towards you. And I never stepped foot to take from them their loved ones, their men. I'm a loner. I am a loner. And I want to enjoy life and people of all backgrounds. See, I'm afraid at times to mention certain truths because you'll be perceived as a hater. But I am exposing the hate that is projected at me, and then I see what is projected on other Americans, regardless of their race. I don't like to see any race being taken advantage of. I feel for some of these migrants. I see how they live. But I also see what they do. And how it's affecting the general population of where I live. I cannot go, as I said, I went to get a dental appointment and I have to wait until May of next year for availability. And at this clinic, and it's a pretty little clinic too, right near where I live, it has seats along the sidewalk for patients waiting to go in. And it's a whole bunch of new mommies. Had one black American looking woman there. All these indigenous women. Probably all pregnant. And then one was pregnant inside, just had the baby. Because one of the staff said, oh, how old is your baby? Oh, 1 month old. They're coming to the U.S. pregnant to get benefits. You think I can go to their country pregnant? You get the fuck out of there, that's what they're going to say. You're going to take our benefits? Yeah, I say it like that. It's not nice to use these words, but I'm angry. The United States of America is very generous and it's giving. It's very generous compared to other nations in the Americas. Free food, free money, free clothes, free housing, free medical care at my expense. At my expense. Housing is very, very hard to come by here. Very hard. The landlords are very corrupt here. Even the place where I live. I love my building. I love this building. But I'm reminded of the microaggressions that were happening to me in the building that I reside in. They're all, except for two people, and both of them are the two blacks. One is an American black and one is West African. All the others are from what they call Latin America, Spanish America. And two incidences. One was the super from Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican background, and the other one from the Dominican Republic. And I'd speak to these guys, say, "Good morning, how are you doing?" One I was very chatty with, and then all of a sudden getting hostile. I excused the first time the incident happened. Maybe just something happened, maybe something happened in his family, he's just taking it out on anybody who was there. I mean, it was a quiet, it was just him at the desk, very quiet. There was no other people around. What's going on? So I just said maybe something's happened in his private life. And then he does want to open the door. He's a doorman. He does want to open the door for me. I said, "Excuse me, would you please open the door?" I had my big stroller. I'm a middle-aged woman. And this young man didn't want to open the door for me. So he finally hesitantly opens the door, and I wonder, what the hell is his problem? This is someone that I've known for years. For years. It was always positive. My schedule changed, so I don't see him all the same time. But when I say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm thinking everything's cool, but I notice his behavior's changed. Microaggressions, people, microaggressions, no matter what you call it. See, they know they can get away with it. And the super yelled on the top of his lungs at me because I had told him this thing that happened, that needs to be taken care of in my apartment. I might have talked to him maybe 5 or 6 times in the 20 years I lived in this fucking building. 20 fucking years. He has a screaming episode at me. I was like, whoa. Yeah, I reported him too. I reported him to management. Next time I came in that building, he looked at me real stupid, like, "What do you do that for?" type of look. Yeah, you don't talk to me like that. See, they come from different cultures. They come from, am I right, people? People come from different cultures. And people may treat women who are from these cultures and think it's appropriate to do certain things that you can show aggression towards a female. And these people I had no problem with. Microaggressions. Even some of the Asian people here. I had an incident right next door to me. Thank you. Thank you for that thumbs up. It's called microaggressions. I'm a middle-aged woman. I mind my own business. I stay in my apartment all day. I go out, do my thing with my, go out with my dogs, come back, and just stay in my apartment. I said, "Good morning, good evening," whatever, when I come in and out of the building. There's no, other than that, there's really nothing else. One of the guys I gave some property, some stuff of mine when I was going to move last year, and I had things I thought he would like because he talked about camping. I said, hey, I gotta have a camping gear. I can give it to you. They do what they want to do. Am I saying all of them? No, I'm not saying all of them. But I'm saying the pattern. The pattern. It doesn't matter about what you say or do. You're not from where they're from. And I used to think, oh, there's a beautiful people, beautiful nation. And that's what I thought. But they don't feel that way about you. People, wake up. Wake up. I thought they were my friends. This is like a family here, this building. I've been here for 20 plus years, going on 21 years. They know of me, I know of them. Never did anything against them. I handle things myself in my apartment. I can fix things. I like to do things. I'm just that type of person. I used to live in a house. I know how to do basic repairs. I don't like people in my house, my apartment. I do things myself. So it's not, so what's causing it? It's called microaggressions. When they see me and other, especially black people, and they kiss white people's ass, because they know they'll be fired if they did what they did to me to a white person, a white man especially. They don't do that. Oh, almost forgot what happened next door. Microaggression, I perceive it's microaggression. An Asian man from, I believe, from China. And how I took it, I explained this, I told you this before, but I'll say it again. I was coming from outside. I came back to my building from outside, walking my dogs with the stroller. And I said, we got a new tenant. He was racing to the elevator and then he realized he left his mask. So he runs in his apartment. And before he entered the elevator, he was still by his door. His door is right next to my door. And I'm trying to maneuver me to go in my building, in my unit. And he walks over to me. And now again, I said good morning or good afternoon when he approached the elevator. So I said hello. Then remember he forgot his mask. He ran to the door, and I took my time going to my door. And when I was about to enter, he walks up to me and he said, do you pay the full rent here or you get subsidized? He had to repeat it about 4 times because his accent was that heavy. I just looked at him when I realized what he'd said. When I finally understood what he said after the 4th time, I said, excuse me? I don't come up to you and ask you about your finance. You don't come up to me like that. And he just goes, oh, oh. Well, the next day after, maybe 2, 3 days after that incident. Now again, I'm at that time I was in the building going on 19 years. So this is about a year ago. And I start to get bitten by bugs. What the hell is going on? I woke up with these marks on my body. Well, what I think he did, what my instincts tell me what he did, he didn't like that I stood up to him. It's none of his damn business about what I make and what type of lease I have. This guy is brand new in the building, getting in my business, and I think he asked me that because I'm a black person or so-called minority. And they treat Chinese people as honor. And no, I'm not anti-Chinese either. but they are treated as honorary white people in New York City. They're not harassed by the cops or anything like that. They are protected by the government. And as we saw with the COVID, that some of these people were being recruited in the country, and I believe that they're being used to topple over America. They are recruiting them to enter the Ivy League schools. They get the high paying jobs here. Also, they're allowed to open up businesses throughout the city where I live. They are flourishing here in New York City, flourishing. But here you got a new person seeing me, and to have that boldness to say that. And I'm much older than this person. This was a relatively young person. He could be in his 30s. I'm twice his age. Why would you do that? Why would you go to someone, you're new in the build, and you don't even say hello, how are, I'm new here, blah, blah, blah. I said hello to him. So you can't say I was rude. This is what you call microaggressions, and him deciding for himself, am I good enough to be his neighbor? And when I spoke, and I was polite back, but I stood my ground and said, you don't go up to people and say things like that. I believe he did something and caused me to get bitten in my bed. I woke up and all these marks. I said, what are they're bug bites? I'm a creature of habit. I am a creature of habit. I do the same thing every day. Go to the same places. Dogs the same. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. But right after that. What happened? Well, I think what happened is what you call microaggressions. Oh, I'm going to try to get rid of this person. I'm going to get rid of this person so they could get more of them. My business, my building, the whites moved out. The younger whites moved out. Who's coming in to replace these white people? People from Asia, whether it's East Asia or South Asia. Those are the new tenants in my building. Those are the new tenants who could afford the rent in this building. I've been here from the very beginning. I'm the first tenant in this unit. I've seen people come and go. And I see them congregating and enjoying themselves. And I'm sad, people, that in this building, they don't really have black people in my building. They have a handful, but they don't have black families as we know it. Husband, wife, and children. They don't have that. I saw one woman with kids, young mommy. Her kids are getting older. That's it. And two single women that are older than me. That's here. And I'm so sad. I've been in this building for 20 plus years and not have fellowship with other black people. But yet I go outside when the weather was warmer. It was just last month. On the rooftop, they have furniture on the rooftop. And they were all congregating together. And he had another thing, there was Asian and whites. And they had their refreshments, like it was some type of a meeting. They were having a meeting, like a social gathering meeting. They were young, they were like, like in the 20s, like college grad age, like 24, 23, 21. Yeah, they're hooking up. They're going to do business together. I speculate. Yes, just a speculation, but most likely. But there were no Hispanics or black people. Hello, I've been here for 20 plus years, and I was not invited by any social gathering on the rooftop with my tenants. See, this New York City, um, it is quickly being crafted. The young that are left behind here, the college age people, they're doing business ventures together. So you have young whites and young Asians collaborating. The Hispanics from Latin America that is deluged in New York City, using up all the resources, are going to be the workers, the worker bees, to do the dirty work, to watch your children, to deliver your food, uh, to work in retail, things like that. Black America here in New York City. I don't know where the hell we go. Where are they? I go to visit my mom. The neighborhood is changing quickly. They're not as friendly. They're from Asia. And I've been in that house now 55 fucking years. 55 years. And they put this, I think it looks like artificial grass. And they connected it to my parents' fence. So we can't look at. Now, I don't know how a 94-year-old woman who sleeps all day is looking into their fence. That's not what's happening. They're saying us and them. And we're the them in the neighborhood that my parents lived in for 55 fucking years. They're pushing us out, yeah. Now, all open for international. I have an international spirit, but I don't have international nonsense or foolery, or one YouTuber said, a fuckery. I see these things. I walked in a store before. They were Muslim. It was a South Asian place. And I love my spices, people. I got a cupboard full of spices. I love these places. This was some years back. This is over. Man, I've been in this place now for 20 plus years. So this could have been maybe over 15 years ago. I went to the old neighborhood to buy some spices because in that area in Queens, you have a lot of people from South Asia. And they have curry. I love curry and spicy food. And I wore a skirt. It was just like right above the knee, right at the knee, and a shirt and a sweater. I go in, and I see that there's a problem. And I realize it's me that they're uncomfortable with. And I've done business with South Asians before, but see, these were not Hindu, but Muslim. Now, I was dressed tasteful. Yes, I was wearing a skirt, uh, a sweater. I'm basically conservative in general, but it was a black skirt. It was, in American standards, very boring, Um, a guy is online. He was holding a baby. He was, I think, being ring up, and he looked at me and said, "Oh, could I help you?" Well, he didn't work there. And you have the cashier. Then she comes up, oh, what are you looking for? And it was right, the place where I was looking was right near, right by the cashier, right in front of it. Why all that? And then she comes over and she's adjusting her shawl, the head wrap thing, like trying to look at me, look, I'm pretty, pretty, that type of look. Why is she uh, primping herself in front of me like that? So I said, oh, I'm just looking at the curry, and I'm trying to decide which curry I want, which box. This was about 15 years ago. Just imagine now, there's a lot more now. This is what you call microaggressions, people. I'm not talking about racism, that my being racist. I'm talking about my experience and what happens and what microaggression may look like in your neighborhood to you if you are an American woman, American person, especially if you're a black person, black American person in these neighborhoods that are changing. Doesn't matter, you're there for 55 fucking years. Doesn't matter. You are perceived as the alien in your own country. I'm very respectful in stores. I'm a very inquisitive person. I love spy. I had no problem with these people. But they may start to have a problem with you when their numbers increase, you decrease in their eyes. Let me repeat that again. When their numbers increase, you are decreased in their eyes. And that's what's happening. And that's when microaggressions start to come out. That what you did before, okay, looking to get some curry or whatever, why are you here? I went up into way uptown. I'm giving the whole gamut. I went to an area where I had to get my hair done. I have black people here. And the whites here at that time, when I went to get my hair done 10 years ago, just to get it colored, the white places, hairdressers, they do a lot of hair coloring. And I just needed my hair colored. And I wanted a professional to do my hair color. I had gone up, yeah, before that, before I went to get my hair color, I went, that's right, I went to the place way uptown um, on 155th Street. I went to the old neighborhood. My father lived there as a child. He married out of that neighborhood. And in that neighborhood, you have a lot of black people from the West Indies, from the Spanish West Indies, Dominicans. So I find a place. Microaggression, what happens? Now, the person that did my hair was very nice. She didn't speak any English. She had a daughter. She was jet black, the mom. Jet black. A real Afro-Caribbean woman from the Dominican Republic. And her daughter was cream color, extremely light, beautiful long hair. And she was getting her hair done. The daughter was getting her hair done. She was maybe late teens, early 20s. Very nice. They were very nice. But standing nearby, this microaggressioner, a male, yeah, some of the microaggressions could be a male. Doesn't always have to be female. And he's the same complexion as me, but exotic looks. And while I was waiting for the daughter to get her hair completed, and I was having a nice time being in the old neighborhood, being around ethnic people from the Caribbean, like my grandparents from the Caribbean, but not from that island or culture. But all the cultures in the Caribbean are very similar. They might speak different languages, but it's the same basic culture. So either way, uh, a young man, maybe in his 30s, is looking at me. He says, "Oh, so why are you here? Or why are you in this neighborhood?" Now I'm here to get my hair done, and the lady is a hairdresser, but this man is just standing. It's an extremely small room, a little bigger than a closet. Some of the places up there, they're able to like rent a tiny, tiny, tiny space. It's just enough for maybe 5 people to enter. So it's only 3 of us. And he's standing and watching. And it wasn't nice how he asked. But I was trying to use my, back then I was still a Christian. And I said, so I had to be nice because now, because I was a Christian, you're supposed to be nice to people, talk nice. So I said in a nice way, "Oh, well, my father was born here, and I'm just wanted to come and see the area." Oh, so you just visiting the old neighborhood. Oh, wow, that's not it. So I wanted to, like they say, someone might talk to you harshly, but you respond in a gentle voice to try to smooth things out. But that was microaggression from his part because he felt I didn't belong there because I'm not from their country. Even though it isn't don't these migrants or immigrants come to this country for work? I'm giving them work. I'm paying for a service to get my hair done. Yes, I mean, I went there to experience what I wanted to experience, to see my father, where my father was born. Well, I thought he was born in that house, the address, but he was born actually in a different location, but he was raised at that other place where I visited on 155th Street in Manhattan. A very poor, rundown, yeah. He lived down the hill, my father in his day, and this was up the hill, like on Broadway. And all that strip on Broadway is all Dominican. Now, I don't mind people from that place. We're all one, aren't we? Well, microaggression. Not even other blacks, yeah, they're black, all right, with the same color that man, and the lady to do my hair was jet black. I wasn't wanted. I was perceived as an outsider, whether I'm an outsider or not. I'm getting my hair done. And this chick, mommy, could use the money. So even though when we spend our money, even though we spend our money, they don't want us there. Microaggressions. Microaggressions can come from black people, white people, yellow people, Muslims, all over, Asian. When the numbers when the numbers increase, you decrease in their eyes. That's all I'm saying. And this is what happens, how it's expressed through microaggressions. So now where I live, they are, I've heard of things in other locations in the city that they were throwing stuff at some of the locals in the black community up in Harlem. Harlem now is not Harlem of yesterday. Harlem now is international. You have people from various African countries, uh, and now also Latin, what they call Latin America. Oh yeah, it's very international. Very few, the number of American blacks, it's not like yesterday. And even back in my parents, because my mother was born in Harlem on 117th Street. And it was international there. It was a lot of different people, even white people. from Europe were there. Yeah, Harlem, they don't want you to think that Harlem was international. They want you to think that Harlem was all poor black. Harlem was international. You had a lot of people from the West Indies back in the 1920s, and you had Europeans, and you had American blacks coming from the deep South. That, yeah, they don't want you to know that, but that's what it was. It was always had its diversity, but they focused on this one particular section within Harlem that the media want you to see and think. Some of it was poor, and some of it was wow, nice. Oh yes, yeah, just like any neighborhood, yeah, there's areas with beautiful home, and you also, I would say, after the war, World War II, it really started going down. You had hardworking people from all over the world. They went to school. You got a job. You did your thing. But drugs, they started pumping drugs in these neighborhoods to destroy it. This whole thing that you see now, what's happening in the United States and all over the world, has been planned. Did any of you see The Economist magazine? There's a magazine for the elite, the people with money and business, called The Economist. And it's getting around on the internet now. The front cover of The Economist, the 2012 issue, the 2012 issue, has what's happening now in Israel. You got to look at it. Just even Google. You can even go on YouTube, write in the 2012. Oh, I said the I word. But either way, just look at the Economist magazine 2012 edition that you'll see easily now because everybody's looking and finding it. Just look at it. And it's like a prediction. How did the Economist magazine know that that particular group in that Middle East were going to use hand gliders to enter a particular country? I kid you not. Look at it. Look at it. Because it's all being planned. It's all planned. They are trying to ruin everything for everybody. They are disrupting America. I love my country. I feel pain. I'm in emotional pain right now. Even the clouds. It's going to rain later on today. Even the clouds are gray now. I'm in pain. I'm sad. I'll be okay. I'll be okay. But I'm very sad because I see it pulling down before my eyes. People, this separation. You think it's by accident when I that paperwork I did for fingerprints? Black, African American, Asian, Native American, and white slash Latino as one category. So they're letting you know the Latinos are the new white category. They could be blacker than me and kinkier hair than mine. That, and you have to pick one. It said you have to pick one. Look at that. But the fact that they put in the same category, Latino, either said Latino or Hispanics slash white. So if you're white or Hispanic, you choose that one. Maybe that's why they're bringing in these people from Latin America. But they don't have the same job opportunities as who they're using for the top paying jobs. They're using Asians, whether from East Asia, South Asia, as the new upper middle class. And again, hard work is hard work. You do hard work, you do your job, you deserve the labor of your hands. All of us. But the opportunity is not being given the same to Black America. They're not pumping drugs in these Asian neighborhoods. They are not tracked down by the police. They don't have to wonder whether a cop is going to throw them down on the ground and put their knee on their neck so they can't breathe. That doesn't happen to them. They are encouraged to have businesses. They are encouraged to open up businesses in Black neighborhoods. They get accepted into colleges, Ivy League schools. And if they don't get in, there was an incident that happened. It was a dark-skinned South Asian man, and he admits he was clowning around on his senior year in college. I'm sorry, not college, high school. And he was applying to different colleges. Well, of course, he didn't get in because he wasn't, his grades weren't up to par. But guess what he does to smash it in your face, Black America? These are forms of microaggression that I'm addressing. I'm not just spewing out these things to be offensive. That is not my purpose here. I care and love people, but I'm exposing what is happening, called microaggressions, what's being done against you. So this particular individual from Asia, South Asia, because he can't get into the college. So what he did, he reapplied to he applied to this other college or whatever. But on the application, he says that he's a Black person. So they accepted him this time. And when it was discovered that he was not a Black man, but an Asian, he was to get kicked out. Yeah, you're not supposed to lie on your application. You're not supposed to lie on your application. But guess what he does? The microaggression comes out. He wants to sue the school for discrimination because he's Asian. The school has tons of Asians in there. They have very low number of Blacks. And he knew because he applied the first time and didn't get through because he wasn't competitive under the Asian flag, so to speak. So he tried the Black flag, and he got in. Because, see, they have like a affirmative action. They want to try to get in people of different ethnic groups in the school to give people a chance. That is what Black America did for America. Affirmative action that opened up doors for so-called minorities and women. Minorities and women. Black America did that for you, minorities and women. And so what does this Asian man do? He started spewing on the video his dislike for Black people and how Black people being favored over him. No, he screwed up. His Asian friends got in. He didn't do his homework. He clowned around. As he said, his last semester, his grades dropped. And he knew that he wasn't as competitive, but when he didn't get accepted the first time, he felt he had to do something. And so he lied. He lied and said he was something that he was not. And rather than just apologizing, He's going to jeopardize other blacks who want to enter that school honestly on their may. So, well, you give less requirements for black people. Very insensitive. This is what you call microaggressions, is how they really feel about you. And when they don't get what they want, they attack. Just like that person from my job in 2002, she wanted that check and attacked me to get it. And I warned management what they were going to do, what I was afraid what they were going to do. And she watched it happen, and I get fired. This is what you call microaggressions, or maybe full out aggression. It's here. And that was a long time ago, 2002. But yeah, they were sending out these white vans from New Jersey to bring in illegals to work in these retail stores. You have a ton of black people back in those days, look, especially ladies, black women, young black women looking for jobs in retail. Yeah, at one point they didn't allow blacks in retail. They didn't want black American people. They didn't want the stereotypical looking dark skinned black person. They didn't want us there. They didn't want us. Back then they used white people. And as now the demographics has changed. It changed. So they don't want you now. So I'm very sad and angered that here, black America had opened up doors for all these immigrants to come into America with open arms at one point. Yeah, they were blocked for a long time, but in the 1970s, the doors opened up. Right after the Civil Rights Act, the doors opened up for them. And they bite your fucking hand. They don't see that you opened doors for them. You bit the bullet for all these immigrants. And this is how they repay you. They'll attack you. They'll harass you. They'll speak their native tongue in front of you to harass, especially the women. Some of these women are fucking catty, real catty. It's sad because we all know it's hard to take care of children. Yes, you want to be a good mommy and provide food and shelter for your babies, just like black American women. But now when you're coming to America pregnant with the intent to have the baby here, so that when the kid becomes of age, when the kid is instant American citizen once the baby's born, and once the baby gets older, they'll be able to petition their parents' citizenship. Hello? Hello, people. Am I speaking the truth or not? Please let me know. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm saying? Is this hate speech what I'm saying? No, it's not. But I do hate the events that I'm talking about. I hate criminality. I hate microaggressions against innocent people. I hate bigotry being directed at me and other fellow Americans, regardless of their race. I don't like it. I never liked it. And here I thought we were all one. I thought we were all one under the immigrant experience. That we're all what they call people of color. That's what I always heard with Black America. Oh, the person of color. We people of color. Question is now, which color? Color is a status. It's a social status. of where you are placed in that society. My filling out that form for the fingerprints is already telling you white and Hispanics are now classified as the same, basically the same race. It's synonymous. It's just now you're white, Hispanic, or Latino, or you're white, non-Hispanic slash Latino, then black, and then Asian, and then in Native American. They're already telling you and showing you why they're being favored over you. And you sit around and you did nothing initially. You helped everybody in America fighting for justice, right? For years. And they love when you do that. They can sit back, relax, and have you do all the work. And then they petition their kids, family, relatives to come to the country and take your job away and insult you, make you feel like a criminal, an animal. And then you start acting like an animal. Some of us are out of our minds. The women are aggressive. You saw the woman I showed you? Was that about a week ago? Black woman, black American woman with her long hair weave, wearing a warm-up suit. And she was to deliver groceries to a client who paid $400. $400 a lot of money. $400. And because she didn't get a tip from the lady, she hijacked the stuff, the black woman, and put the groceries back in her car and said, well, I'm taking it back. See that? That is a microaggression too against a fellow American. Even though they're different races, this aggression. Aggression. You're taking it out on each other. Blacks are taking it out on whites. Whites are taking it out on blacks. But both of you don't seem to get it, that both black and white America are being booted out. We are both being booted out. That's the other main point here. I know it took a long time to get to it. Black and white America is not going to be the same. They want you both out. They want you both out. You're too expensive. Black people want too much rights and money, and white people feel entitled. They want you out. You're both too fat and lazy. Black and white America are lazy now, are fat and lazy. You get these new groups who don't really know their rights, and they work for less. And then even the ones who want the white collar jobs, well, you could pay them a little less too. I mean, they're doing it. They're thriving here in America. And I'm seeing more and more in New York City, where I live, going down the tubes. And I feel like I'm in between a rock and a hard place because I'm not sure what I want to do. I fear that if I leave, what if it doesn't work out? If I stay, I have to risk my life with those migrants that live around the corner, about 2 blocks away from me, actually. And the microaggressions that might appear, or getting service. The service isn't that good anymore. The quality of the food, it's all changing. the quality of the food, microaggressions. You go to ask for help, and they don't want to help you. And I'm a very pleasant person when I'm in the store because I like meeting people and say hello, good evening, good morning, hi, how are you doing? I walked up to this one man, it was yesterday, and I said, good afternoon. And he just, duh, and just like nothing. I was going to pay for my item. So I said again, good afternoon. Oh yeah, I said good, hello. I said hello back up. See that? See, I make sure I say good morning or good afternoon because I want to let them know I'm here in peace. Good morning, good afternoon. Whether I could fight it or not. I can't change what's happening around me, but I at least, so they can't say that I was a bitch. And I want to bring goodness and wellness in my environment. So I say good morning, good afternoon. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel better. When I'm walking down the street, I say good morning. Most of the time, people respond positively. Or you nod at someone and they nod back. Yeah, we're still human, people. We're still. Don't let them take away your humanity. That's the other message here. Don't let them take away your humanity. Yes, they're doing what they're doing, but we're all some of them are being used. Some of them being recruited from these other countries, and maybe they're being promised. I speculate that they're being promised certain things if they come to the U.S. That's what I believe. Why so many? What are they being told? The winter is coming up, people. They're given, and they have phones. They have cell phones. Who's paying for their cell phones? They have their cell phones. So they'll be able to tell back in their home country that they don't have housing or this or that or no job, whatever. These hotels that the government is paying for them to stay in, they have 2 months and then they have to get out. You're going to say that to them. You're going to bring them in a bus all the way up from south of the border to New York City. They're there for 2 months and you force them out. Where the hell they're going to sleep? This is done deliberately to put a strain and probably cause fighting with the locals. And they're already starting to fight up in Harlem. There was an incident reported in Harlem about 2 months ago. These locals were walking by and the migrants were throwing stuff at them. See that? This is called microaggressions. What they're saying is this is our territory, not yours. They're not migrants. A migrant is someone who's moving. Where they're moving to? No, they're setting up shop and have you pay for their lifestyle. They have new clothes, new sneakers, new warm-up suits, scooters, so they can deliver food or whatever. But I believe this scooters is going to be for other things that's going to be sinister. I also heard that they may be giving these migrants get this, I just heard this yesterday. It is alleged, I do not know factual, but it was discussed over the internet that they may be giving a one-way ticket to any place in the world. Not just to any city in America, but all over the world, a one-way ticket to help resolve this so-called migrant problem. It's not a migrant problem. It is a migrant warfare that they're developing on purpose. It is all by design. It is all by design. It's not by accident. The mayor of New York City knew better. He's a black American man from South Jamaica, Queens, near where I'm from. And he's doing nothing to help his own demographic. When you see a black person in a major city in America get in office, you better run from that city because they're being used to do the dirty work. They use them to do the dirty work because, see, if you say anything, oh, you're being a racist. You're being a people. See how the powers at large, how they work? They use your own biases or fears to get the job done. Because, see, if you question, oh, you don't like me because I'm a woman in office. I'm a governor and I'm a woman. Oh, you're a sexist. You're a black man in office. Oh, you're a racist. These are the tricks. These are the tricks that these power sources use against you. They have no allegiance to anyone but themselves, and they'll use any nationality, religion, gender, orientation to get their goals made. They are anti-human. Am I speaking the truth, people? Look at them, how they act. Look at these billionaires. That's with the B as in boy, a billionaire. And they act crazy. They are crazy and they lack empathy and humanity. I was watching this video with Bill Gates. He was being interviewed. And he was saying, they were talking about trees. He says, oh, I don't plant trees. Ooh, like they're ugly. He purchased a whole slew of land in Hawaii. And you don't like trees? You better move to the desert. But no, that's not the case. You have sickos out there. They get you dependent on their product, their system, like the computers. They get you hooked on it. They devise these technologies as part of the trap. It's part of the trap for your destruction. They can make food taste fantastical. They put these chemicals in the food. And you notice it make them real fat. You notice Americans are real fat. And you compare them to people from Europe or Africa. And how, in general, very slim they are. But America is really fat. It doesn't eat real food anymore. It's not real food that they are eating. They eat refined flours that put a strain on your pancreas. And your body has to produce that much more insulin to handle the carb overload. You are sick. Your body's sick. Now they're pumping out these cannabinoids, something like that, cannabis, in a black neighborhood near you. They are all over the city. All over. And who do you see in there? Hello. I was watching this program yesterday on cannabis. I was just curious. I've never done it. But it was interesting. That, see, they're setting up in stages the legalization of it. It got legalized first in California, and then New York devised something, a recreational use, that it's legal now for recreational use. So these stores are all over big cities where black people congregate. What do they put in these? I'm concerned about what they're putting in it. It's growing a lot. Um, but yeah, these what they all what the video on the subject talked about was it's 80% tax. So if you have a legal dispensary in the city, at least in California, they get tax money from it, 80%. So you can barely make a profit. 80%. You don't think that these cannabis is doing something to the mind of these people? It's pacifying you. And you're at war, and you're doing cannabis, and you're surrounded by your future enemy. You need to stay awake, people. You need to stay awake and stay clean from that garbage. That is garbage that you put in your body. Yeah, they make it look seductive. Some of these shops look really attractive. And you see the black dudes, the young black dudes. You mostly see the dudes do it. You very rarely see women, but you see a lot of black dudes doing it. Yeah, you don't see any real gentlemen blacks. Just real, ah. Yeah, when I went out yesterday, aggression. It's a young black kid with a adult male, a real, what do you call this, what you call a street child, street person, walks up my stroller and does like like a growl, like ha. What is this? These are like little animals, animal type mind. Yeah, the typical street dude, and but this is the child. The child was about maybe a preteen. Was a preteen, but a street punk type. That's what you see, a street punk kid. I'm his adult, old enough to be his grandma, and this is what he does. This is the mindset that I live amongst. If I don't see them as the gay blade wearing the funny wig that's lopsided and these weird ass funky colors and funky clothes, they're the street thug type. That's my world. And I'm very sad. I love my own. I care about all people. I want goodness and blessings and love and safety for everybody on this planet. But we're gone mad. The social services here is really bad. The mindset. They want to take your money here. They don't want to do a good service, but they want your money. And the microaggressions, as I told you about the young black woman with the hair weaving nails, who didn't want to give a client that paid for their grocery $400 worth because she didn't get a tip. And so she's taking it back. She's not even the owner or the manager. She's a delivery person. And the aggression that's coming out of these workers, they're crazy. crazy and entitled. I understand the frustrations. You want money to pay for your lifestyle. She definitely had a lifestyle on her, in my opinion, based how she dread the weave. It was done very nicely. The nails, the warm up suit. Yeah, she dressed very neat, but a street personality type. Yeah, you could look at it on YouTube. You just type in the woman, black woman who didn't want to give customer groceries. She was taking it back to the depot, and to reverse her order. That is foolery. She should be more angry about the black community being taken over by foreigners who are here illegally getting funding from hard taxes. And then your kids have nothing for them to, no seats in the classroom. I know of someone that had to leave the state to bring the kid to a different state to get a seat in school. There were no books. This was over 30 years ago. There were no books in the classroom, no school books. So she got her kid out and sent the kid to relatives for a basic education. Basic. That was over 30 years ago. Just imagine now in this town where I live. It is horrible. The infrastructure is going to break. It's breaking, people. It is breaking. And I don't want to be here when it breaks. I'll just at least say that. I don't want to be here when it breaks. I am going on 61 years of age. Yes, Spirit Journey is going on 61. I try to live a healthy lifestyle. I get my exercise. I try to drink plenty of filtered water. I take my supplements. And I'm just conservative in my lifestyle. I don't do drugs. I get my exercise. I cook my own food. Yes, I do like eating out too. But primarily, I cook my own food. You find people who cook their own food live longer. You do live longer. I have an ancestor. I think she'd be my great grand aunt. She lived to 107 years old. Wow. I would like to, I say to myself, I would like to live long like that. I want to live like, I would love a new start. I want a new life. I want happiness, peace, love, and joy. I want to be around loved ones, people who love me. I want to love myself. I want to be around beautiful people with beautiful attitudes. I want to live in a beautiful home with beautiful things in it. I don't like where I am now. I don't like what it's turning into. Those of you who care what I'm saying, I'm sharing a lot, and I'm not really pulling any punches. I'm very upfront about my feelings. And if you care about what I'm sharing and wish to help, you give a word of encouragement. You give me a thumbs up. And you could also PayPal me. I know money is tight for everybody. I may need your help, especially if I do this move. Yes, I have a PayPal me account, and I want to say thank you. I had received a beautiful gift about a week or so ago, and I sent a thank you message back. I hope you got it. And I want to thank you for your generosity. I thank you. And those others who want to participate and love this content and just want to help a fellow human being out who's trying to make a positive way, positive video, exposing what's happening that people don't want to talk about, you can PayPal me. You'll find the link on my channel called Spirit Journey. On the banner right hand side, you will see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link and follow the prompt. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. And I thank you in advance for any gift you can provide. Yeah, times are hard for everybody here. I see the pain. Yeah, we're in pain. We are in pain. I'm in pain emotionally. It's like someone ripping out your heart and you can't do a damn thing. And the people who know our mayor, so-called black mayor, a white female governor, and they're doing this to their own community here, of fellow New Yorkers, fellow Americans, fellow immigrants who came here legally. You're screwing them up. Do you know what? I'm so, so sad. I saw these trends going on for years. Oh, but I'm not supposed to expose it. Oh, I'm a bad person to have these feelings. Yeah, that man that I listened to early this morning, his last name is Hansen. Yeah, he's a Scandinavian guy from Norway, and I've been to Norway. It's a nice place. And he talked about what's happening in Scandinavia, the RAPE capital of the world, in Europe, that is. They don't deserve that. They don't. I've been there as a young adult. I was in my 20s when I went to Scandinavia by myself. And the locals, they were very nice to me. They were polite. They speak English. And it did me no harm. And they're uprooting Europe. Yeah, so many, many black people go to Europe to party. Europe is not Europe anymore. You have a growing number of people from other cultures who don't respect the culture who is providing for them. Years ago, people would call people who say what I'm saying a bigot or racist. It's not bigoted or racist to tell people what's happening. I felt the pain of that man who's living in Europe, in Scandinavia, and seeing the people being ravished. Yes, we all know in history that you had Western Europeans invading Africa, kidnapping us, bringing them to the Americas. Yes, we all know that. Those people who did those wicked things are long dead. Slavery was over since 1888, almost 140 years ago. How many of you are 140 years old? None of you. And how did those people get those slaves? They were sold by other African people. That's how they got it. See, it's a whole system. You have a giver and a taker. And you have people on both sides who did horrible things. And they're doing horrible things now in some of these places. You don't think slavery exists in other parts? They're selling their own children for gruel. They use their daughters. Some countries overseas are using their own daughters for the sex trade. Shame on you. There's a lot of evil out there. And what's promoting the evil is the fear of not having money. Fear. And you know, money is an illusion. They're creating a game, making you dependent on a particular social system, even the internet. We are addicted to it. And it costs money to get these devices. Money. And the lifestyle, we look at these videos and see people with pretty clothes, pretty hair, pretty neighborhoods, and we want what they have. Most people in the world don't have a pot to piss in. And the thought of them having that American dream or European dream of high society is knocking on their door, and they just crave it. And they'll attack anybody who gets in the way. Money is an illusion, but a real one. You don't have it, you cannot participate in this monopoly game. This is a game of monopoly. This is a monopoly. These corporations are buying other people's stuff. I heard that one of the billionaires had bought out. Like I drink. I use apple cider vinegar by that Braggs. I love Braggs. I feel confident with the name. I that from way back. I remember them from the past, and then I started buying it. I love their product, but they changed. Braggs apple cider was bought out, I think, a year ago. Those of you who know, let me know. You can write in the chat room. Braggs apple cider, raw apple cider vinegar was bought out. And I had bought some a couple of weeks ago. And I noticed the contents of the bottle of the vinegar, apple cider vinegar, looked weird. Well, there was a report that they're using something weird to make the apple cider vinegar. It's not the same thing anymore. You have these rich companies, individuals who are buying out the Cadillac of products like Braggs, apple cider vinegar. They're being bought out and then they're tweaking it, changing it. It's not the same anymore. It doesn't taste, it tasted nasty. I said, wow, this is not what happened. Yeah, those of you who know the details about Braggs, apple cider vinegar, it's not the same thing. Write about it in the chat room or in the comment section below when it becomes available. Yeah, things are changed, people. Things are changed. Yeah, that is the goal. A monopoly game to get you dependent on something like social media, to be the queen or the king on your domain. And then they start telling you what to do. Oh, you can't say that word. Oh, you can't say that belief. Oh, you can't talk about that medical advice. It's a new slavery. It's a new type of slavery. You get out of hand, oh, we'll demonetize you. Does any of you know what I'm talking about? Do any of you know what I'm talking about? They will demonetize you. Oh, also like yesterday, they pulled a video. They pulled a video of mine that I uploaded 3 years ago, people. 3 years ago. They said against community guidelines. What the hell did I say to upset them? Well, they're doing that. And so I feel that my stay on YouTube, um, I have to really yeah, the world is changing very quickly, and I have to really reevaluate, reevaluate uh, what I want to do with my channel. I started in 2014, um, and I did it for fun. I didn't know about monetization back then in 2014, but then I later heard about it, and then I became eligible for it, so I applied. But they've been pulling out for the past few years, even before the COVID, they've been pulling it out, but they've been um, pulling videos of mine, and then they prevent me from doing any content. First it was for a week, and then now it's 2 weeks, and they say, oh, if you get a third strike, you're out. They said permanently. Isn't that something? So you don't have the freedom to talk. And some of us rely on our income using social media. See, now they don't want you to have a 9 to 5 job outside. They removed that, remember, during the COVID? And so you're forced to be creative and work full time on your YouTube channel or other social media. And you're doing things that you wouldn't normally do because now you're competing with other people to get views. And you produce clickbait. You talk about certain subjects because hey, people talk, you get views. But it's not about quality. It's just about clickbait for money. We're becoming like prostitutes, pimps and hoes. It's disgusting. It's nothing wrong making money. But you know, have purpose behind what you do, not just the physical. Something that you think will help somebody. I do my videos to help myself, my feelings. I was very upset. I started doing YouTube videos because of an event that happened with Trayvon Martin. In 2012, a young 17-year-old got killed by George Zimmerman. He racially profiled a young black kid uh, who's just going home. He went to the neighborhood candy store and he was coming home just to get something, and then he was tracked down like a animal and shot down dead because the guy thought. And again, this was someone whose mother was a migrant or something, an immigrant, a mixed race. His mother was from Peru. And he racially profiled a dark-skinned black kid who's on his way home, minding his own business, and shot down dead. That was when I decided to make YouTube videos because I couldn't take the pain. Yeah, the incident happened in 2012, February 2012, and then they held the trial took place 2 years later in 2014, and the guy was acquitted. He was let go. He said, stand your ground. He had a right to stand his ground. That's what happened. And so I think it was April of 2014, I put up my first video, but it was on a different channel. And that's what happened. So I just did it as a mouthpiece. I started doing YouTube videos as a way to grieve and to share my pain after a 17-year-old black boy gets shot down by a older man. He was 20. The man was 27 and the boy was 17, and he shot him down because of ignorance. And the cops warned him, "Stay in your car. Do not get out." And I couldn't take it. I have nephews and brothers and cousins of color, and I didn't want them to face the same thing. So I did a video, I think it was 40 minutes long, and poured my heart out just to deal with the pain. And then I continued. I felt that I felt better after doing the video. And so I talk about what I felt. The channel that I started, like I had the initial channel, and I thought I was going to talk about food. Like I was a student. Like you can set up a YouTube account but not have any content. And so that I thought I was going to, after I graduate from school, to talk about food. And then the incident happened. I had that channel, and I didn't know how to change the name. And then I created another channel that was just to discuss about Black lives. And my first video on that channel was to share with the Black community for free to the veterans. I said how to get a vendor's license, and I showed step by step. So you have a lot of selfish Black people out there, selfish people out there. They all want to hustle, hustle, hustle. You have to think community. Community is the key. These people, new migrants, they know about community, and they work together as a team. And I see some of these Black women especially who just want to hustle. Everything is get by everything, but you have the information, you have the knowledge about something that's supposed to help us, but you want to sell it. Now, there's nothing wrong with commerce, don't get me wrong. But if it's all about helping the community, give the information out. If something extra, okay, they pay for that. I gave that information for free. I show them step by step how to get a vendor's license, because you have a lot of Black vendors, Black veterans in New York. Again, I thought YouTube was just like, since I'm in New York, only New Yorkers was there. No. Anybody in the world, in the United States at least, could see my videos for free. I don't harass people. I give it for free. If it's about the community, if you think the community is in danger, give information to help. That was my first video on that channel. And that I think could help them, because you have a lot of Black veterans want to know, hey, how can I do this? Yeah, there are things out there, but you don't share it because you're so fucking selfish. Stop being selfish. Stop being selfish and start helping humanity. Start opening up. Stop closing yourself. Stop holding yourself in your mindset. Help the community. Stop devouring one another, because you're going to perish, and everybody else with you. We are a good people at heart. We were thrown in this mess. We didn't ask for it. but we're in it. Let's get out. Let us tap into our humanity. Stop hurting one another and stop hurting yourself. Start eating good food, food for the body. Stop doing those drugs. Stop eating synthetic food. Cook your own food. Teach your children how to cook and clean after themselves. Teach them how to cook their food. Basic hygiene. Do that. Go on little trips, like you go walk around the block if it's safe. Go to the park as a family. Make sandwiches. And enjoy what you have. This is your land. You built it. You built America. It's okay to enjoy the works of your hand. Stop looking at those dumb videos. These dumb fake women with fake makeup, fake eyelashes, fake boom boom, fake nails. They're fake. Be real. Be real with yourself. Love yourself. Love your body. Love what God gave you. Love your family. Take care of your health. You don't need the bling bling, but if you have money to buy it, hey, get what you want. But family, the concept of family and community, that's what we're lacking. Start with yourself, loving yourself. And if you have children, hey, do things, go to a park or something if it's safe to do so. Sit at a park bench. Make some sandwiches and eat and drink your food to delight, and then you go home. Communicate with each other. Communicate. Don't let AI rob you of that. That's separating us, making us addicted to all this stuff. Stop it. Learn to talk to one another. Say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It'll start making you feel better. It makes me feel better to say good morning to people. Don't let them take your humanity away. Some of these black children here in my neighborhood, the one that I met yesterday, are just like a reprobate. A reprobate, and he wasn't even a teenager. He was a preteen. Crazy kid. I went to elementary school with kids like that. I went to elementary school with kids who acted like that. Well, they're back. They are back. Unloved, groomed by the streets. Come on, guys. You are strong. You are intelligent. But you believe the lies. You better take care of your community or it's going to be taken away from you. And you know, many of us are leaving. Many of us are leaving. There are channels out there, these black women, some of them are savvy, and they're leaving the States. And some of them are leaving with their children. But you never hear of men and their women. Very rarely. It's a woman with her kids. Those kids need a daddy, their own daddy. People, take back community. Wherever you start at your own community. Don't let them get the best of you. You deserve a break. You deserve humanity. Start treating yourself with dignity and respect as a start for all of us to do. And pray to that higher power to give you favor out there for you to live another day in prosperity and wellness. That is my prayer to all humanity, just not the black community, but all all humanity out there, we are all in danger of the rulers out there who want to take over the planet, who are probably not real humans anyway. But you who are listening, you're listening for a reason. You're listening because I'm speaking reason and truth, and that you want to hear this. You want to know the truth out there. You want to get reconnected to humanity. I know I do. I need humanity. I don't want to do it alone. It is a very lonely process. So I said a lot off my chest. I had a lot on my heart, people. I love my country. I love my community. I want all of America to thrive and awaken from this slumber that we're going in. Those of you who want to reach out to me, you can write a message in the chat room or in the comment section, or even email me. If you're facing the same type of things out there, you just want to share maybe in private something, a little private note, you can do that. So peace, love, and joy to you all. I say I've been on for 206 minutes plus. I thank you for this opportunity to share you my thoughts. And again, my purpose is not to offend anybody. It is not to be an elitist, but share my experiences and how it makes me feel. And that I love my country and it's going down the hill. Okay? Thank you again. Peace, love, joy, and harmony to you all. I'll keep you posted on what's going on here in my favorite city of New York. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.